today.
I know I'm not living right. I don't need to go and have somebody tell me that.
An Easter drive that shook up one punk rocker's life.
I can basically do whatever I want. When I was a teenager, I would always write songs when I would break up with a boyfriend because then I was depressed. So my brother joked one time, yeah, a couple more boyfriends and you'll have an album.
Life's experiences.
That's right.
Beth Champion Mason has had lots of them. Both experiences and, when she was younger, boyfriends.
Why does it always start with relationships? I don't know.
She distinctly remembers the guy who stole her heart at 14.
He was a parent's nightmare, really. Here I was a straight-laced girl, and I brought home a guy who had a purple mohawk and wore leather and chains and liked to wear black lipstick.
Now, Beth had been raised in a Christian home and had been given a set of rules to live by. But Beth's boyfriend led her down the wrong path, and she couldn't let him go.
I basically thought, well, if I can't give him up, if I can't make myself do that, then I am sinning. And you know what? If I've already messed up, then I'm condemned anyway. So I can basically do whatever I want now.
Which opened the door
to everything else.
Which included heavy drinking and using hardcore drugs like acid, speed, coke, and pot. Some on a daily basis.
I did things that endangered my life that were just plain stupid.
Beth felt she needed to please people to earn their love and acceptance, a concept built on her image of God.
I just felt like God was kind of a judgmental, a vindictive God, I think. I think I had this image of God standing up there just kind of waiting for you to mess up, and then he was going to pounce on you when you did.
With Beth's track record, she figured it was only a matter of time before her judgment came.
I think I reached a point where I thought I had gone too far.
So what were your life plans?
I don't think I had any life plans. It was completely live for today. I could not see the future. I couldn't see beyond the next week, next month.
On the outside, Beth looked like she had it together.
I was getting high and getting drunk all the time and partying, but a lot of people didn't see that. I mean, I was still getting straight A's in school.
But underneath it all, Beth was severely depressed.
There were a couple times that I really seriously contemplated suicide. I mean, I got to the point where I really didn't think there was a whole lot of hope for me. Everybody that I knew was into drugs. And when your whole lifestyle is that, you feel kind of trapped. I mean, how do you get away from your whole life? And how do you go back to a God who you think hates you after all you've done?
Beth's questions were about to be answered. It was Easter morning when Beth's mom barged into her room and insisted she come to church.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, man, I just don't need this guilt trip. I know I'm not living right. I don't need to go and have somebody tell me that.
But it was Easter, so Beth gave in on her own terms. She drove herself to church and smoked a joint on the way.
I wanted to get high before I went because I didn't want to sit through it without something to take the edge off.
Beth slipped in and sat as far away from people as she could, paying no attention to the service. Was she in for a surprise?
The most amazing thing happened. I was sitting there, and I was high, and all of a sudden it was like, completely sober-minded, clear-minded. I did not feel high anymore in the least. My heart was pounding, and I just knew that that was my day. And it was like God was looking down at me and saying, you know, you still have a chance. There's still hope for you.
Beth made her way to the front of the church and had a conversation with God that went something like this.
Lord, you know, I have messed my life up so bad. I've just basically thrown it away. And I don't even know why you would want it anymore. But if you want it, you can have it. Please take it. Make something of it.
It was a defining moment.
You know, I felt in love, is what I felt. Just in love with God. I don't know how else to describe it. That feeling when you first fall in love and you're just excited and you're nervous and you're elated and ecstatic all at once. I felt like I had been resurrected from a dead life.
So what was it like walking out of church that day?
I just felt like peace just poured over me. I just felt like a burden of 1,000,000 pounds was lifted. And I knew that he didn't have his back turned on me anymore.
Beth says that while it took time to completely give up her drug habit, she knew her relationship with Christ was secure.
I felt like he was saying, it's okay, you know, baby steps. It's okay, I'm still here.
Today, Beth is happily married and recently put out her first CD. Beth now understands that she doesn't have to earn God's love and acceptance. These things are free. That's why she has such a deep appreciation for Easter and for Jesus' sacrifice on the cross.
You know, the Bible says the wages of sin is death. So the price for what I did, the price for what I've done, was death. I deserved that. And when I think about what he did, what he took for me, it's overwhelming. That's amazing that he would make that sacrifice for somebody who completely turned her back on him, who completely rejected him, and he paid that price for me. Wow.
That's the wonder of Easter and the resurrection. It's the wonder of the passion of Christ, that he loved you and I so much that he'd rather die than live without us. You know, Beth said earlier on in her story, how do you get away from your whole life? You start over.